Veterans Day. Hi everyone, Old Guy here, and the novel today is Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace, right here. Now, this is a novel you should read once. Schedule a couple of weeks to do so because holy Hannah, is this thing long. I will pause right here to allow you to think of your favorite double entendre. It's War and Peace long, and with about as many characters and subplots willy and nilly all over the place. And footnotes. Footnotes? Yes, footnotes. Unnecessary, pretentious, and annoying footnotes that you've got to read because there's a lot of good novel in them. Especially the telephone conversation between brothers Hal and Orrin Incandenza in footnote 110. Which is pages 1004 to 1022 in my edition, a footnote that itself has footnotes. There are, last I checked, 388 footnotes and 1,079 pages. I guess infinite is a good word for the title. So, what is this about? Well, there's a videotape, which is called a cartridge in the novel, that puts the viewer into a paralytic state when viewed. No long-haired girl, ghost girl, emerges from your TV and begins to eat you or anything. It's just the paralytic state, which you can never ever emerge from because the cartridge is so powerful that even when someone attempts to pull you away from the viewing, they too become ensnared. A Quebec terrorist group consisting of people who have lost their legs, therefore earning the name of the Wheelchair Assassins, wants to find the master copy of the cartridge so they can unleash it on the Organization of North American Nations. ONAN. Get it? Now, they want to do so to take revenge for ONAN's taking part of Quebec and all of northern New York and turning it into a brownfield waste disposal site for everything thrown away in what was once the United States. Yep, that's about as damn silly a story as someone could write, and you have to check the cover to make sure this isn't Vonnegut, which it isn't. Vonnegut knew when to end his novels. Wallace didn't. In fact, it does finally end with my favorite character in the whole book, Don Gately, lying in a hospital bed trying to recover from a gunshot wound while fending off doctors' attempts to give him Dilaudid because he is a Dilaudid addict and doesn't want to fall off the wagon. Curtain. Interspersed is a boatload of characters and situations which do not seem to have any relationship to each other, but hang on, they do, and try to remember every single person you run across, however briefly, because they will definitely show up later. Maybe for just an instant, but all the same. Gotta give Wallace credit for keeping track of all this. Underneath the main story of mesmerizing cartridges are three other main stories. Hal Incandenza and the Enfield Tennis Academy, ETA, get it? Don Gately and the Ennett House Recovery and Rehabilitation Center, and Orrin Incandenza, however you say it, and the NFL. Sub-stories of these include a wheelchair assassin double agent, Marath, whose leaders know he is a double agent, and his Onan Office of Unspecified Services handler, Hugh Steepley, an undercover agent dressed in the most outlandish of women's clothing, who knows that they know that Marath is doubling, and Marath knows that he knows that they know, and that they know that he knows. Got it? There is an apocalyptic game called Eschaton held by ETA each year, which involves the simulation of nuclear attack through tennis strokes that goes quite awry in the subsidized year of the Depends adult undergarment. See, years are now sponsored by the highest bidding corporations. One of the most beautiful women in the world goes about veiled because she is part of a disfigurement movement and was heavily involved in the cartridge's production. Or wait, isn't that Madame Psychosis, the much adored college midnight DJ who did nothing but read obscure texts for 6 straight hours over the air, who becomes Oren's girlfriend, or wait, she becomes Don's girlfriend, or fellow attendant at Ennet House? Dunno. Hard to keep track. Now I gotta say, Wallace displayed an astonishing knowledge of drug abuse at the downright pharmaceutical level. And he also displayed an astonishing knowledge of how addict and alcoholic recovery works, from AA to NA and rehabilitation halfway houses. Not that I'm implying anything from that. Frankly, I believe that Wallace did a great service, because once you get through everything he writes about the drug world, you will never want to abuse any drug or alcohol ever again. Now, please don't presume by my tone that I dislike this book. No, I liked it very much. It is incredibly well written, with some of the best prose usage that I have seen in a very long time, to the point you suspect Wallace was showing off. And he was. But that's okay, because it comes off well. I personally like paragraph-long sentences that cram about 4 to 8 subjects enmeshed in about 5 to 15 related activities. I mean, after all, I cut my reading teeth on Ray Bradbury. Difference is, Bradbury's freewheeling paragraphs were elegant, while Wallace's, they're a sledgehammer that will make you reel with their brilliance. It is brilliant. And that's the problem. There is brilliance in the service of humanity, and then there's brilliance in service of yourself. Not hard to figure out which one is which here. Although Afeets will protest that the brilliant satire of the novel is well served and important and an unprecedented examination of the human folly. And I, merely glance over at my Vonnegut novels and go, been there, done that. Unlike Vonnegut, you get a sense from Wallace that he knew he was smarter than you and somewhat pitied your lack, keeping his condescension hidden by a look of understanding and openness. You know those types. They're usually your brother-in-law. So, does that mean that this is not worth your time? No, quite the opposite. This is a novel I think everyone should read. Once. Now, if you want to read it again, okay. But you don't have to. Old guy here. See you later.